As COVID restrictions come down, the crime rates are going up. But what is with the criminal kids? From a 12 and 14-year-old shootout with the police to a graduation party that killed 3 and a pair of teenagers charged with murder near Chicago. Tonight, Judge Greg Mathis, a man who went from juvenile offender himself to an impressive career in the courtroom. He weighs in on the crisis. And then, a comedian who has soared to the top of her game in Hollywood, on television, and now in the comic book universe. From crazy cop to bitchy bridesmaid, Wendy McLendon-Covey laughs along with us tonight.
I just want to let America know this BS that they're selling us about restorative justice in juveniles, it's a lie. We're failing miserably as Americans. We're failing miserably. There's no accountability. The system here in Florida and every other state when it comes to juvenile justice is broken.
A Florida sheriff in the aftermath of a shootout unlike any other. His deputies forced into a gunfight with a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old after taking on hundreds of rounds. Americans are at odds over what to do about violent kids. Treat them like adults? Charge them as juveniles? Tonight, 2 guests who know more about this subject than most. Judge Greg Mathis walked in the shoes of a juvenile offender when he was a kid, and it is likely what propelled him to a standout career on television and in the courtroom. And Dr. Charles Sophie is the medical director for the Department of Child and Family Services in Los Angeles. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you. I want to get right to the case out of Volusia County, which has really surprised so many people. A 12-year-old and 14-year-old in Florida. They escape their foster home. They break into a nearby house. They get their hands on very big guns. Police are called in, and the body cam that was released was very, very distressing. But it certainly could have been so much worse. Take a look at this.
Hey guys, just hold behind hard cover. Let's not shoot these kids, man. Let's just hold on. Take our time.
10-4, they're shooting at me. Hold the air. I'm code 4. She's re-racking around inside the shotgun.
All right, let's not engage them anymore. Let's not challenge them. Just hold behind hard cover. We're just going to hang out here. Unless they come out and they're going to be compliant, let's not go ahead and try to escalate this any further, guys.
Judge Mathis, the result of that could have been 2 dead children. Instead, 1 child was shot, the other wasn't. But we're talking about a 12 and 14-year-old here. It sort of boggles the mind. I think a lot of people are left with the impression that things are getting worse across this country when it comes to juvenile crime. But is that so?
Well, let me first say that I agree with the Florida sheriff, perhaps for different reasons. But yes, we are failing our children. And I'm not blaming the justice system for the failure of the juvenile justice system. I'm blaming society in general. And that's starting with the parents, starting with the schools. Our parents have failed them. Our schools have failed our young people. As we know, this is a foster care. These are foster care children who don't have parents or they don't live with their parents. Certainly they're angry. Certainly they're distressed. Certainly they have a mere existence of hopelessness and despair. And throw in the anger, throw in the environment that we're living in. Those are the type of explosions we'll see. But let's go back to the fact, as the sheriff said, in a different perspective, children don't raise themselves. They're raised by their parents and the American institutions, and the American institutions that prepare them for adulthood. So yes, we are failing them in preparing them.
So, Dr. Sophie, I'd love you to weigh in here, because when I read the statement from the foster facility, I felt personal hopelessness about this, and I want to read it for our audience as well. It says in part, these children are in desperate need of care in the appropriate setting, which is a higher level of care than we can provide. So as the medical director for the Department of Child and Family Services in LA, help me understand, where do you go from there? When the foster system says we just can't handle this, there has to be some other level of care. What is that level of care? What does it look like?
Well, I think it's important to understand that it's not just the foster care system is saying they can't handle it. It's that level of care is not appropriate for that level of need for the child. The issue is the system is so imbalanced that they can cherry pick who they want. So a group home like this child was in, or a residential care setting, is able to be picked by the people who pick for their home. They're picking the better kids for the lower levels of care, and then the higher levels of care are not getting the kids that they should be getting. So people who are not equipped to handle these kids like this home are getting this level of child who should be in a higher level. And because there's no regulation over a lot of that part of the foster care system nationally, the cherry picking allows the children who really need the help to fall to the bottom.
But how did it get to the point when there's cherry picking? And if I get you, that facility gets to choose, and for some reason they chose these two kids that they couldn't handle, or am I mixed up?
No, they're ending up with those children because the higher level care places are picking the easier to treat children.
Got it. So that basically, I don't want to use this term because it seems so pejorative, but it's the dregs. If these kids who are so troubled are ending up in homes like this that aren't, that just aren't capable, what is the answer? What should there be different legislation, Dr. Sophie? What's the answer to make sure this does not happen?
I mean, the answer is that we really need to oversee and overhaul the system in a better way so that there's better regulation so the children who need the level of care that they need get it. Because what unfortunately happens is children that end up needing a lot of help in a facility like this who can't handle them end up being medicated. So then you have another problem on top of that where we're pumping drugs into our children who don't even maybe need them if they were getting the right treatment. So as the judge said, the system is failing, the society is failing, schools, but especially parents, because they shouldn't be in the system in the first place, but unfortunately they are.
So, Judge Mathis, I'm not going to suggest for a minute, like a Pollyanna, that, gosh, this never happened when I was a kid. Sure, there were violent crimes through the decades. But it just seems to the average American, when they watch as much cable news as they do, that there are more and more episodes, and they seem more violent, and they seem like one outdoes the next. If Dr. Sophie tells us that there's cherry picking going on and that the higher level facilities that can handle them aren't taking them, is it the fault then of the legislators who are not doing something about it? Or is it the fault of the home that says, you cannot have this child here, I reject the acceptance of this person? It can only lead to disaster.
Yeah, I believe there's flaws both in the policy making and certainly in the policy, the implementation of those policies. And unfortunately, they play politics with the lives of our children. In many cases, you hear folks saying, well, it's the budget. We can't invest more. These are the legislators. We can't invest more than such and such amount for the budget. Fiscally responsible. I think it's more fiscally responsible to invest in rehabilitation and treatment than to be fiscally responsible and pay more on the backside, being juvenile justice system, et cetera. So the therapy is one of the things I think is being overlooked by the legislators. Many of their children are doing fine. Their children aren't in foster care. They don't know the experience of foster care life. They don't know about the children and how it feels to know that aging out is on the way. And everyone that has aged out has fallen through the cracks to a life of failing to meet their needs. And so they're the real life things that people and young people experience, and those who provide the foster care assistance, that legislators and policymakers know nothing about.
You know, Judge Mathis, I know you do the show on TV, but I also know you have a solid background in working with community organizers, with the Reverend Jesse Jackson. You have spent a lot of time in social justice behind the scenes. It's not just a TV show. Let me put it that way. So I wanted to get your personal just your personal reaction when you heard that the children behind that shootout were 12 and 14 and had come from a foster home. As a judge, as someone who has been a juvenile offender and has come through the ranks to the top of society, what was your reaction?
Well, my reaction was too many guns. I recalled my time as a juvenile and all of my buddies in the toughest neighborhood in Detroit. Single mother, didn't have a father in my life. Mother worked 2 jobs, midnights and days. And midnights as a nurse's aide, worked during the day as a maid, cleaning the homes of the rich during the day and taking care of the sick at night of others. Her boys, 4 boys, left to fend for themselves. The difference was, because we were troubled, lack of supervision, etc. The difference were guns. It was very difficult to get your hands on a gun. We all wanted guns. Guns were the prestige of the neighborhood, but it was hard to come by one. We used to make what they call zip guns. And so it was the same type of anger and crime, etc., that went on, but we didn't have the guns at our disposal to kill each other. In fact, what we're seeing in many instances, particularly here in Chicago, and yes, I'm here with Reverend Jackson as we speak, trying to develop some strategies to address the killings in Chicago. The difference is that instead of things that you fight with your fists about, you're shooting. It isn't all drugs. It's, in most cases now, it's beefs. You stepped on my shoes, so I want to fight. No, I'm not going to fight. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to come by and shoot up the party. Because we get in an argument, they put me out of the party, I'm going to come by and spray the party. Okay, I'm in foster care. I can get a hold of a couple of guns. Well, instead of going out there and fighting my enemies because I have a little anger and violence kind of run concomitantly, then I'm going to shoot. And so I think that guns have replaced fists. That's what we're seeing in many instances. And that's what came to mind for me. And today, by the way, the state Supreme Court of California overturned the ban on semi-automatic. So we have to be committed to it.
So, Dr. Sophie, it's a good time for you to jump in on what a district attorney in Wilmington, North Carolina, has done recently. Made a plan for charging youths as adults when it comes to violent crime, saying that he's never seen things the way they are. He's laying down the law and wants to just go forward. And I'm always torn when I think about charging, criminal kids as adults, because I know that the victims of their crimes are devastated and deserve justice, but it's hard to reconcile that these are still children with minds that are still forming and have been usually dealt the worst lot in life. Where do you come in on that kind of legislating and that kind of meting out of justice?
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I still feel the same kind of conflict as well. However, these are children, like you say, that their judgment, their insight, their impulse control, their brains are not nearly fully formed until they're 25. So they don't really understand the outcome and the aftermath and the implications of their behavior. But however, they still need to be held accountable on some level. And I'm sure that some of this lawmaking is made to send a message to others who might even think about doing something like this, that they have to be taken for real and held accountable. So it is a conflict emotionally and morally, but at the end of the day, we have to keep everyone safe.
Gosh, it's so hard to think that a child could actually process, the thought that if I do this, I might get in bigger trouble. Half the time, they're barely even to process what they are going to eat, for the next meal. So deterrence when it comes to adults is a tricky wicket. And I think with kids, it's pie in the sky. But let me digress for a second into the parents. When we come back after the break, gentlemen, I want to ask you a little bit more about the parenting. Parenting in America, children who are struggling in the criminal justice system, and where the responsibility should lie, not just morally, but maybe also criminally. That's coming next. Do you remember those little parental advisory stickers from back in the 80s? They were supposed to warn us about all the perceived dangers of heavy metal music like Twisted Sister and Judas Priest and Marilyn Manson. But this century, The billion-dollar video game industry has come under similar regulation with games like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. Here is a little sampling, but a warning, some people might find it disturbing. Holy cow. That was a scene from Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare, in which a player, like you just saw, could participate in an airport mass shooting. You heard me right. An airport mass shooting, just mow everybody down. That game has earned well over $1 billion in sales. So the question, I think, is obviously, Judge Mathis, how is that okay, number one? But number two, is that maybe really the problem? We've been to this rodeo before, saying that entertainment was, destroying the minds of our kids with music and all the rest. But is there something to what you just saw that you think can translate into how kids are behaving?
Yes, I do. In fact, I think it was those two children in Florida that said that they were mimicking a video game, or that they were influenced by a video game. Secondly, I believe there are many studies that indicate that it affects individuals. But I think it's several factors, even for those who do nothing but watch and play violent video games. Don't know if it's it would be solely responsible. The great minds of society would be able to tell us, particularly those who are creating that content. And so, not quite sure, but we have children who've admitted that they were influenced by it in their violent behavior, and we have studies that indicate it has been the case as well.
I will say that the game industry will tell you there are plenty of studies that that show that that is not a factor. There's always a competing study. In a courtroom, right? You can have two experts, very, very smart, saying completely opposite things. But
and
Dr.
you always
Sophie,
follow them.
Go ahead.
You always follow the money, and in this case, the money is with the trade groups, and the therapists and the children psychologists are getting the independent objective studies. In my opinion, I go with science over money.
It's true, but I also look back to the old days, and I was listening to music with my friends, and, Judas Priest and all sorts of really rough metal music was suggesting all sorts of things we shouldn't have been doing, and we didn't jump into the fray and do terrible things at the rate that we're seeing kids do today. Go ahead.
You're right.
I see you.
I was trying to put my finger up there. That's the difference. Just like I was fist fighting, but now everybody shoots. That's the difference. You guys didn't have guns.
Yeah, Dr. Sophie, that's a good point. And if you look at the stuff that we were consuming back then as well, like let me go back to 76. Yes, I was consuming this stuff in 1976. This one was a video game. There were video games in 76 called Death Race. And if you think about the conceit of the video game, you were supposed to hit as many people with your car as you could. But take a look at the graphics and let's compare and contrast for a minute. Take a peek. It looks an awful lot like Pong, if you ask me. But Dr. Sophie, the stuff that we were playing earlier was frighteningly realistic. In fact, if you squint, it does look real. Is there something that we should be taking into account as the sophistication of the gaming industry just gets better and better with every version? Yes,
absolutely. I think that we start at the right place, which is parenting. A child should not be allowed to have these games at their leisure. I have children, I know many children who are allowed to play games 8 to 10 hours a day, even longer during the pandemic. So what that does to their brain is desensitize them to any human emotion and a lack of empathy to be able to understand that this is really something that they could go and do. They blur the boundary line. And so a child who's angry normally as a teen or as a child is going to act on that anger with all of these tools that now have been instilled in their brain. So it's parenting, it's the quality of the game, and the more real they are, the more and the easier it is for a child to then walk into society and do this when they're angry.
Hey, Judge Mathis, as a judge, do you see this becoming, the next big story where kids come into a courtroom and the defense attorney says it's not the fault of my kids here, it's the fault of the games that they consumed, and then they show myriad evidence to show that they did hours and hours of consumption of this stuff, and they got their hands on it. They just got their hands on it, whether there was an advisory sticker or not. Is that going to be a defense that's viable ever?
Well, let me just say this. I think that's one of the reasons that lawyers go to school for 7 years, college, and the judge has experience. I think they can see through that type of defense. But I want to reflect on the parenting. We can't just point the finger at parents without doing anything about it, because the fact is many of them are being failed or are failing themselves. For example, the opioid epidemic. How many of those parents you think are doing a good job or are capable of doing a good job? Prior to that, it was the crack epidemic. What they call crack babies. Then you had the heroin epidemic of the 70s. And the massive poverty and the failing school systems. It didn't start with this generation. It's been going on for several. And so when the parent fails the child, when the school system fails the child, when the community center fails the child, when the church fails the child, the finger pointing is there for everyone. The fact is the child falls through the crack. And that's why our focus needs to be how to stop the children from falling through the cracks that the failure of the parents and the school system has allowed.
And I have to leave it there, but Judge Greg Mathis and Dr. Charles Sophie, thank you both so much for this. I really appreciate your insight, and it's something, the conversation's not over, let's put it that way. Coming up next, it has been a very tough year for police, so when we come back, we're going to take a look at a lighter topic. When comedy and cops intersect, you get Wendy McLendon-Covey. It was hard not to laugh until you cried watching Wendy McLendon-Covey stuffed into a sexy police uniform on Comedy Central's smash hit Reno 911. She just happened to top that when she teamed up with Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy on the blockbuster comedy film Bridesmaids. But now Wendy is rocking her best 80s mom jeans 9 seasons in a row on ABC's hit series The Goldbergs. Oh, and you know what else? She's joining the Marvel Universe, with all that spare time of hers. And she also figured out a way to join us. Wendy, it's really great to see you.
Oh, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
First of all, how do you do it all? I mean, seriously, all the different show schedules you must be taping to be able to still do like additional seasons of Reno and do the Goldbergs and then some movie I'm hearing about for Reno. Can you really fit this all into a day?
You know what? All I can say is that I haven't had a vacation in 6 years, and I never see my family. They live down the street. And I mean, but you got to make hay while the sun shines.
I agree. You take the work while the work is there, and you shouldn't complain that you're busy because we always complain, when you're not, But so I've got a huge array of questions for you about Reno and Bridesmaids, and I want to start with the Goldbergs because it is such a fun character. I get the impression it's sort of this. It's that 70s show in the 80s. Does that sound about right for anybody watching who might not have seen the Goldbergs?
I could see why you would say that, but I would almost compare it more to the Wonder Years. Because it's told through the perspective of our youngest son, who in real life was, a really mischievous little kid. And they handed him a video recorder so that he would have something to do and just stay out of everybody's hair. But in reality, he went and filmed everything that happened in the house. And that's why we now have a show. The show is based on a lot of those embarrassing tapes that he made of his family. So that's probably what I would compare it more to. And it's always told in 1980 something.
1980 something, AKA the hair tells us everything we need to know about that, right? The hairdo is so delicious. So Adam Goldberg, the creator, it's his mom, whose actual name is Beverly. Seriously, he named the character after his real mom's name.
Oh, yes. And she is alive and well and active on Twitter. And she weighs in a lot. And she's still out there, you know, with her friends, wreaking havoc on the nation. And yeah, the only, and everybody is named after the actual family members, except for the oldest son. We cast a girl instead of a boy. So instead of Eric, it's Erica.
Lord, could you imagine what it's like at Thanksgiving at their table? And I don't even want to imagine how many show notes you get, maybe from the Goldberg, or the real Goldberg family. But let me play a quick clip of you and your character. I love the fact that you're like the potty mouth Jewish mom who just goes there, because I like to think that's me too, but I can't do that on TV. But let me play a quick clip, and I'm going to ask you about it on the other side. Take a look.
Okay.
I'm gonna die one day, but have fun with your friends. When I die, don't have a funeral. I don't want to take up anybody's time. One day when you abandon me in an old age home and never visit, you'll look at these pictures and remember how much I loved you.
This is one of those shows where makeup and hair are also like a really important character, you know?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, like, people have asked me, you know, how do you get in character as this crazy person? But the minute I put that helmet on, like, I am ready to do battle. You know, it's very specific. And the minute you put on those shoulder pads, you feel like someone's mom from the 80s. It's there's no other way to feel.
Well, and gracious, they're coming back. So hopefully you won't be walking around in your real life going to Starbucks and start lapsing into Beverly Goldberg when you put on sort of a fashionable outfit these days. Hey, let's go back to your foundings in the Groundlings, because the Groundlings, you know, I think it was somewhere in the early 2000s, these around 2002, that you decided to do some of this improv with the Groundlings, and you met these other girls that were pretty good at their jobs, Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig. And I mean, really, that's just a match made in heaven, isn't it, when you look back at that?
You know, the funny thing is that I was a secretary at this terrible hotel in Anaheim, and I took Groundlings classes to kind of overcome my shyness. And so I started taking them, and I thought, well, at some point they'll kick me out of the school. They'll decide I'm not good enough and they'll kick me out, but they never did. And I ended up being in the company. And that is where I met, you know, Melissa and Michaela Watkins, Annie Mumolo, Jim Rash, all these people that have gone on to have these huge careers. And the weird thing about meeting Kristen and Melissa and Maya was that we all met at a wedding shower.
No, seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the craziest thing?
Is it at all possibly the genesis for why, you know, Bridesmaids came into fruition? That there was a little germination at the bridal shower where you met?
Maybe, but I think most of it was due to Annie Mumolo, the co-writer of Bridesmaids. She had to be in so many weddings in one year that she was going broke. And I think that's mainly where it came from. And then I don't know if you've seen the follow-up. There will never be another Bridesmaids. But Kristen and Annie, who wrote Bridesmaids, also wrote Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, which was released earlier this year, which is hysterical. And Annie actually gets to be in that movie. During Bridesmaids, she was like pregnant and about to pop. So she only got to be in one scene. But those two girls are unstoppable.
Honestly, between them, the repartee in the spinoff, it's spectacular. I'm devastated what I heard you just say, there will never be another Bridesmaids. I feel like when you have an expression, always a bridesmaid, never a bride, it is a match made in heaven for a sequel. Are you telling me truly that it is impossible? And why are you saying this to me? Why are you crushing my dreams?
Well, I'm sorry to crush your dreams, but it's just something I like to do. No, Kristen has said that for years and years and years. This year is the 10-year anniversary of Bridesmaids, and she's been saying it for the past decade, like we are not doing another one. And I think this one really stands alone and doesn't necessarily need a follow-up.
It's devastating.
Sorry.
Listen, I'm also shocked only because, I think it cost $32 million to make, and it raked in $288 million at the box office, which tells me naturally there's going to be a sequel. I'll talk to you a little bit more about this on the other side of the break. And when we come back, I also really want to drill down on the magic behind, Deputy Clementine Johnson. I mean, you in Bridesmaids, phenomenal. You in this squeezy little cop top on Reno 911, mind-blowing. So we're going to do all of that next with Wendy McLendon-Covey. If you did not experience the immense joy of watching the show Reno 911, then you should probably go to your nearest streaming service or figure out some way of consuming that product, because it truly is television magic. And one of the good reasons for that is Wendy McLendon-Covey, who played Deputy Clementine Johnson. So I'm just going to show you a little sampling of her magic. Here she is as the officer on the spoof mockumentary show, where she's trying to give a field sobriety test to someone who's clearly drunk, but doing really, really well on the test.
Recite the alphabet from Z to A backwards as fast as you can.
From
Can you
Z
do
to
that
A?
for me? Yeah.
Sure. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A.
All right. Remarkable. I've actually never seen anybody do that. I want you to step, bump, bump, step, bump, bump. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, bump, bump.
I don't even know how many times I have seen that clip, but I think it's more than a half dozen, and I still laugh out loud. And I almost think that you guys, even having acted it, however many takes it took, will still laugh out loud when you see it.
That was done in one take. And that clip is probably 17 years old now. And I'm not kidding, Ashley. Someone sends it to me at least once or twice a month and says, "Have you seen this?" And it's like, well, yes, I have. I have seen it many times.
I lived it. Was that Thomas Lennon playing the other scene?
That is actually Cedric Yarbrough.
No, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And Cedric is quite a dancer.
Well, as you both were. Literally, that just seared in my mind. Every time I think of Reno, I think of Thomas Lennon in his tiny little cup biker shorts and like dance shorts. And then I think of you doing the bump when you did the walk. So I also just, listen, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but, I went to the Wikipedia and I noticed all of these unbelievable names that all played some part in Reno. Danny DeVito, Keegan-Michael Key, Zach Galifianakis, Paul Rudd, Christina Applegate, George Lopez. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I might have missed some of them, but I was just looking at this list thinking, that is just comedy magic.
Oh, yeah. We always had the most amazing guest stars, and a lot of them, like us, we were not household names. Like, people didn't know who we were. It was just, let's find the funniest people and plug them in wherever we could. And now, like, Keegan-Michael Key has exploded. Patton Oswalt has exploded. It's just so funny to look back at the old episodes now and see, like, oh my God, A, we were babies, but B, I actually worked with that legend. Oh my God. How lucky am I?
I was so curious just about the trajectory of the show, and I know that you had season 7 on Roku, and then season 8 you were actually in production. It was supposed to go on Quibi. Quibi folded, but you still finished the production. So what happens to season 8? Where is everybody going to be able to see it?
Well, I think since Roku bought all the Quibi stuff, that we will eventually see season 8 on Roku. If that changes, I will let everybody know. But we have a very funny season 8, all full episodes, not 10 minutes like what Quibi was. So I will let everybody know if anything changes on that, but I'm pretty sure you will be seeing that in the fall.
So the other question is, policing in America has changed so much in the last year, and it had a huge effect on another blockbuster cop show, Live PD. Now, that's real, and yours was obviously mockumentary. Do you think that it had any effect, though, on the potential for Reno, or was just Reno in such a different category?
I think Reno's just in such a different category. We are just so absurd that, the premise of our show is like, what if you got the worst cops from all over the country and put them all together? What would that be like on a town? So there is no truth to what we're doing whatsoever,
Yeah, it's true. And it is, it really does sort of lighten the mood in an area where I think there might be a lot of need for mood lightening. All right, switching gears a little here because you're a busy lady, so I got to pack all your projects in. This latest one, Marvel, this was not where I expected you to go, but here you are. You're going to be a cartoon character on M.O.D.O.K. I want to play a quick clip from it so everybody can get a mood setter on what the other project is. Take a peek.
M.O.D.O.K, I did this because you suck, and AIM sucks because of you. You're a bad scientist, and if anyone remembers you, it will only be as the piece of I stepped over on my way to the top.
We're throwing down, like right now.
Bring it.
We got some bad scientists, but...
I love it. I want to see the rest of the scene. Okay, so John Hamm is in this. Bill Hader is in this. Whoopi Goldberg. Patton Oswalt, you're reuniting with him because he did some Reno as well. So this has got to be like just a super fun passion project if you're working with people like that.
It was so much fun. And honestly, we finished, I know we finished voicing everything in 2019. And then that damn coronavirus shut everything down. So we're about a year late getting this out to everybody. But Patton called me and told me about the project, and I was in love immediately. If you tell me I'm going to potentially play a mad scientist in something, tell me where to show up, and I'll bring my own lunch, and I will give you 110%. I love this universe, and I love what Patton has created, because this character, while he's kind of in the pantheon of Marvel characters, he's not a well-known character. So I just loved the fact that this, he's working for world domination, but he also has a wife and a daughter who needs to be bat mitzvahed and all these things. Humanizing our superheroes a little bit. It was the most fun.
I like the
stop motion animation.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I really like the stop motion animation. It's really crystal clear. It really looks unique and a lot of fun. Okay, when we come back after the break, Wendy, you have a lot of fans. So a lot of the fans sent us questions, which we will deliver to you. And also, I think I just have to dig into how you keep a straight face when you do so many of these scenes, whether it was on Bridesmaids, that bathroom scene, please, one of the best things ever, or, just working with the Reno crew. So when we come back after the break, Wendy McLendon-Covey and your questions. Back now with the hilarious Wendy McLendon-Covey. All right, questions from our followers and yours. It turns out Jennings Writer on Twitter asks this, Wendy: how comfortable or uncomfortable was your police uniform on Reno 911?
It was terribly uncomfortable and continues to be uncomfortable because I've always wanted Clemmy to look like she's about to pop out of her clothes. Like, she is determined to stay in the same size that she wore in high school, and it doesn't matter if she can't move. She's always ready to pop. So
It's brilliant.
But not only that, the pants have no give. They like hit your rib cage. They're just awful. But I love them.
I'm glad you powered through it because it is iconic, honestly. Okay, Karen Bertman on Instagram asks this: how did Wendy and the cast not consistently crack up filming the series Reno 911? It's an excellent question. Did you actually manage to get through takes without doing that?
No, someone's always breaking, and honestly, me and Carlos Alazraqui are the worst. Luckily, that show is easy to chop up and edit, but believe me, I have gotten in trouble before. I just finished doing a movie in Saratoga Springs where I was laughing so hard, I was given a talking to.
So is a lot of it ad-libbed or is it all scripted? I mean, can you guys just riff? Because you're all professional comedians. You're all great friends. I'm just guessing some of this is just right off the top of your head.
There is no script for Reno. We just get scenarios. So yeah, it is all completely improvised.
Awesome. Oh, Lord. I mean, it's even more talent than I thought. Okay, quickly, this is a long handle. Tracy loves Delusa Bachman on Instagram. Okay, Tracy. How do you think Mrs. Goldberg measures up against other TV moms?
I think what Bevy would say is the following. I'm not saying other TV moms don't love their children, but I'm just saying that I love mine more than any other TV mom has loved theirs.
Aw, it's perfect, and I love the facial expressions that went with that, too. And I think Tracy's going to love you as well as Delusa Bachman on Instagram. So we do this thing called Table for Two, and we put you at a table, and across the table, the chair is empty. And Wendy, you can put anyone in that chair that your heart desires, living or dead, but it speaks volumes to your thinking. So who would you put in your table?
Quincy Jones.
Wow. Explain.
Big fan of his work, big fan of his backstory. He's an American treasure. He is someone who has such a brilliant mind for arranging music and arranging instrumentals that I want to know how that mind works.
I would have expected you'd do something like Carol Burnett, like a comedy legend, another female, comedian, because I would think you'd want to ask, was it harder then? Is it as hard now? You seem to have mastered with Bridesmaids, female comedy, as an ensemble, you could be just as, dirty and stenchy as the guys, and it worked perfectly. But I don't know that Carol Burnett would have had that freedom.
Yeah, I think it had to have been so much harder. But then when you look back at some of her older stuff, you could not get away with it today. Some of the uncut Carol Burnett shows are so unpolitically correct, although, times are different or whatever. But listen, if you gave me a bigger table with more people, then yes, Carol Burnett would absolutely be there.
Then you got to come back and we got to do this again. You know what? You got to come back. We're going to go through all the female comedians. In the meantime, I want to just give a quick plug to your projects. Goldberg's entering season 9 on ABC. M.O.D.O.K is streaming currently on Hulu. And Wendy McLendon-Covey, I cannot wait for the next season of Reno. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much, Ashley.